Hey everybody, in today's video we are going to be talking about the best advice for young athletes. The first best piece of advice I have for young athletes is what separates the good from the great is 22 hours. And what I mean by that is, typically speaking, an athlete has 2 hours a day where they're on the practice field. That leaves 22 hours a day to the athlete's discretion of how are they going to spend their time. And so this is considered the lifestyle of the athlete. What are they doing? What does their sleep look like? What does their nutrition look like? What are they doing the other 22 hours? Are they just sitting around? Are they spending time doing recovery? Are they spending time learning the sport? Are they spending time in the playbook? And so what I encourage young athletes is to consider the other 22 hours. Obviously, it's great to get in a great mindset for those 2 hours of practice, go crush your practice, really focus on excelling in your practice. That's where you're growing and taking action. But also evaluate, what are you doing with the other 22 hours of your day? Are you sleeping well? Are you eating well? Are you doing things to ensure that you're recovering to set up a great another 2 hour practice tomorrow? Are you spending time in the playbook? Are you spending time learning the sport? So I encourage you, think about 22 hours, and that's really what's going to separate the good from the great. The second best piece of advice I have for young athletes is that comparison is the thief of joy. This was once said by President Theodore Roosevelt, and I believe it applies to many areas of our life. Young athletes that are driven, ambitious, and hungry to get better, to step into this competitive nature, whether it's high school, your freshman year, you're getting onto varsity, it is so easy to compare to your teammates. It's easy to compare to the best team in your league or the best team in your conference. And this is a struggle whether you're in middle school, high school, or even college. And so I just encourage you to be content with the gifts and the skills that you've been given. Learn to give your best effort to become your best athlete with the talents and the gifts that you've been given. Learn to just steward what you've been given, because you can't control how this person is or how that person is. What you can control is yourself. And there's a lot of things that we can't control. And when you continually focus on what you can't control, you're going to be constantly just stealing joy from your life. And so I think this is such an important life lesson to learn in athletics, because you can apply it to many areas of your life in adulthood. And so I just encourage you, give your best effort, learn to be content and satisfied with the gifts and abilities you have, and just become better each day. The third best piece of advice I have for young athletes is that consistency is key. When you're thinking about becoming a great athlete 3, 5, 10 years from now, it's all about putting a bunch of good days together. When you think about a bunch of good days, give it an 88 or a 90 or a 92% on the scale of 100. That's a bunch of A minuses and B pluses. That's going to end up being a lot better grade than an A plus. One day you just crush a workout, you work super hard, you wake up and you're so sore, you're so tired, you're fatigued, or maybe you're even injured if you just are training way too hard and not resting enough. And so this is really important, to tame your emotions and just think about, you need to show up each day and think about getting 1% better. Give your best effort that day. And giving your best effort is not always just absolutely crushing something. And so when you think about being a great athlete 5 years from now, 10 years from now, it's all about showing up. It's putting in the work day in and day out. And it's not always about having an incredible day. A bunch of good days is a lot better than a few great days and a few bad days, or even a few great days and a lot of bad days. And so consistency and just mastering the habits that you have each day to becoming 1% better each day is so important when you think about becoming a better athlete, not even next year, but 3 years from now, 5 years from now.